Hey, we brought you down to San Juan County to show you a river and an area I've always wanted to experience myself. Hey, I'm Adam Eagle, and thanks for tuning in. Yeah, we came down to Bluff here in San Juan County. We're at Bluff Dwellings Resort and Spa. It's a new resort that just opened a few years ago. It has everything. It's nice, it's beautiful, it's actually really accommodating. And the best part, they have some outdoor adventures, including going on the San Juan River.
So today we're gonna see Big Katarina Panel. Big Katarina Panel is a huge panel that is just about 250 feet long. See on the other side. So we're gonna see so much history within this river. It's a pretty mellow river. We got some rapids in the canyon if you take a multi-day trip from Sand Island to Mexican Hat, which will take about 3 days.
Floating down the San Juan River is the ultimate in outdoor family recreation. It's smooth, easy paddling, and is a place of surreal beauty.
Look at that family there.
With wildlife and history around every bend.
Yeah, we should see some blue heron, and this maybe we'll see some donkeys. We call them telis or burros. This wall here in front of us, this is Tiger Wall. It just gets its name from all the streaks that you see flowing down.
The river and surrounding area is an archaeological treasure chest dating back thousands of years.
Every time I come here, there's always something new. There's just so much to see.
And who better to help you understand the history of the area than Benny, a Navajo guide who has a deep connection to the river through his people's history.
We're coming up to our Moki steps here. If you see Moki steps like that in certain areas that look like they lead to somewhere, most likely it's gonna lead to a living quarters, but here on top of the cliffs, it's got some pretty good soil up there, so there might have been gardens or crops up there where they would plant their corn, beans.
Our first stop is the Katarina Panel, officially named Butler Wash Panel. A very remote and special panel located on the southern end of Comb Ridge. This is a sacred place to both ancient and modern Native Americans.
We like to tell our guests when we come up here, we show the respects to the former people that inhabited this area. We show them respects by not touching their walls and touching their artwork. And this style of petroglyphs here, you see the main figures. So that's the San Juan anthropomorph style there. There's 7 distinct guys up here, and we think that just because how large they are and just the detail on them, that these people were the shaman or the leaders of the area.
Of the people?
Yeah. Each picture inside of their chest might signify that they're knowledgeable, and the little puffs on top of their heads are signifying that they think higher thoughts. They're wise in that area, and the puffs in front of their mouths are them speaking it and speaking leadership. You see these 3 little triangles, the upside down triangles, so them signifies that these people were not afraid to defend this region, this vast area here. You look really close, it looks like hanging bodies upside down with this.
Yeah, with no head.
With no head.
It's almost like there's blood coming out of the head where the head would have been.
Hiring a local Native American guide has its advantages.
So this part is about 580 to 700 AD.
For Benny, he sees the river as part of his history, his teaching that he learned from his grandparents.
The way our people would interpret the journey spiral is the start of life.
They offer a story that is so much different than someone who is not from the area, who doesn't have the same connection.
The Hopis, the Zunis, and the Pueblos, modern day tribe today, are the descendants of the Anasazis. And the little blimps up there, we had this Hopi guy that came over, and he told us that the little symbol right there is a tool that they would use for their ceremonies.
Our next stop requires we get out of the river and into a Hummer.
We are at River House, and AKA it's also known as Snake House because of the pictographs right on top of the ruin there. So in the Hopi tribe, they go through a clan-based system too, just like our people, our Diné people. And in one of their clan-based systems, they have a clan that's called the Snake people. This dwelling held shelter for about 50 people for 100 generations, just one generation after another. And this dwelling was built in the 700 AD to 1300 AD. And we could go up into the dwelling, but before we do, I'd just like to say, just to keep your hands off the walls, just in respect. So this here, it was a kiva. So the only way they would get into a kiva is from the top going down. So imagine this whole wall would have been like another 4 feet high, and this whole thing would have been enclosed here. But they would keep like a little doorway so that the only way you could get in is through that little hole, and they would have a ladder coming down. So that had more meaning to the people, where they come into the kiva and they're going back into the third world, and they do their ceremonies in here. That's why you have all these soot and ashes, this black soot here on the walls, is because they would always have a fire here, and they would be sitting around the kiva. They would do their ceremonies. From there, they would climb up out of the kiva, and they would enter back into the fourth world as a new person, a rejuvenated person. And these people, the longest they would live would be between 40 and 50 years old, just because of the living conditions and just always breathing in all this soot.
So we have a tour company, we've named it Wild Expeditions, and we focus on rivers, canyons, and ruins.
Wild Expeditions is part of Bluff Dwellings Resort and Spa. They are a one-stop shop for fantastic accommodations and adventure.
So on the river, we do half-day trips. We do multi-7-day trips, 84 miles on the San Juan, all the way into Glen Canyon National Recreation Area. We do canyoneering trips. We have some great canyoneering in the North Wash and in the White Canyon area. And then, of course, multi-day trips in a place called the Grand Gulch, Slickhorn Canyon, these places that are wilderness designation, and they're chock full of Native American ancestral Puebloan ruins, rock art, and it's just phenomenal. We do 4x4 trips. We do night sky sunset tours that are more automobile based for people who don't have quite the mobility to get out and hike. We feel we've got something for everybody.
These walls wouldn't have looked like this back in the day. It would just be totally plastered and smooth throughout this whole thing.
Look like stucco.
Yeah, exactly. And most of their dwellings that they've inhabited like year round are always south facing, just because they watch the sun. Especially during the summer times, you would have the sun directly above us, and this whole dwelling would be inside the shade. And in the winter, the sun would be like at a 45-degree angle, and all the sun rays would come in. And this stone here, this bluff sandstone, holds heat quite well.
River House Ruin is open to the public, but remember, the ruin, the artifacts, are all protected by law. Don't remove artifacts or damage the ruin. As Betty would say, have some respect for the people who once thrived here.
Jared, I had a great day yesterday. I was tired, but River House Ruin, probably the most spectacular ruin I've ever seen in Utah. It's beautiful.
It's pretty awesome.
So if people see this, they want to come down, they want to come, try this. How do they get a hold of you guys?
So our website's probably the best way. Bluffdwellings.com
Okay.
is our resort. If people are interested in adventures, see riversandruins.com. If you book a tour with us, then we'll give you a discount on the hotel. If you book in the hotel, then we'll give you a discount on a tour.
So come down, stay a while, a couple days. There's a lot to see here.
Make it a long weekend, make it a week. We'd love to have you.
Yeah. Thanks, sir.
Thank you very much.
A lot of fun. Hey, I'm Adam Eagle, KSL Outdoors. Reminding you to get out with your family, your friends. Come down to Bluff, make some memories outdoors. We'll see you next weekend. Good night.